What's up, guys? My name is Khan, and we're back today in Scrap Mechanic, and we're back with an awesome creation that I think is going to be the first of many creations just like this. And that is, of course, this awesome wireless messaging computer system. So this is actually really cool, and I don't think it would be nearly as possible without all the different math blocks that are in the mod pack. I was actually working on a completely different sort of computer build with the new math blocks, and then realized that when you actually have 1,000 different scripts running all at the exact same time, it kind of lags the game. So I've got to go back and fix that, but in the meantime, I figured I would show you guys this awesome messaging computer system, which is going to be completely compatible with, of course, the awesome Potato Internet. A little while ago, we worked on the Potato Internet, and it was a really awesome system to basically send signals across the map using potatoes. And then, of course, we worked on the SpudNet 2.0, which was the same thing as the Potato Internet, except instead of parallel, it was using serial connections. And again, really awesome stuff. But I figured the biggest problem with the Potato Internet is we didn't really have a good stream of data to actually send. We're always just sending sort of, one letter at a time, and that's a really terrible system. So I figure at least we got to be able to send more than one letter at a time, be able to write small sentences, to some extent. And so I decided to come up with this awesome QWERTY keyboard style system, which lets us send a line of 30 characters and receive a line of 30 characters. I originally was going to do 120 characters, but with the number of math blocks, again, I realized 120 characters would be probably close to 500 math blocks with this method, and I didn't really want to have that many scripts running again and causing the same kind of lag that we were getting before. So instead, we've got this awesome 30 character messaging system, and it does in fact use the remote control blocks from the mod pack. But that's the only mod that this entire build uses. So it's really cool. And of course, you're going to say, well, Cod, this isn't really using the Potato Internet. This is just, a wireless computer that uses the remote control mod. Or you might just be like, Cod, this is really just a typewriter. Or Cod, this is just a really terrible Nokia phone. But I think this is one of the few different modules that we can build in towards making sort of more of a computer. And the reason why I say that is this is sort of a 30 text character display, but if you look at how this is all wired up, and we'll take a look at that in a second, but if you look at how it's all wired up, there's actually only one connection coming out to the remote control block, and then one connection feeding the remote control block to the receiver. So this flexibility here really gives us the capability of putting just about anything we want in between this. So we could use this as a display for all sorts of other stuff. Regardless, before we get into, all this, we'll just make sure this is transmitting on blue 1 and it is receiving on blue 1. Really simple stuff. And we'll just type ourselves a message. So we're just gonna go hi. Okay, period. The buttons are right below the letters that you're pressing, so it's pretty simple stuff. The space key is over here with the little underscore, so I'm just gonna press space, hi, perfect, space, name. All right, excellent, perfect, is Con Gaming. And you'll probably notice that we're typing on the lower line right now, and that's actually because the bottom line is your sending of data and the top line is your receiving of data. You can send and receive at the same time because you'll be sending on one channel and receiving on the other. You're not gonna have each of these hooked up into one sort of system, but you can send it on any number of the channels and also any color of the routers. So it's really kind of awesome with the amount of different devices you could have. And then of course, with this, we'd have to look at actually doing routers and all sorts of other things to, direct traffic a little bit differently. That way you don't have to yell at your friend which thing he wants. But there we go. We've got this awesome message. Hi, my name is Con Gaming. You know what? I don't like that exclamation mark. We'll just hit the backspace delete button there, and we'll put a period instead. No, that was too many. So when it deletes, it's kind of weird. We don't really have a cursor icon. I mean, I probably should have put a cursor icon. That would have been useful. But regardless, we've got this awesome message. Hi, my name is Con Gaming. We can, of course, delete the entire message with these two red buttons. This will clear the entire bottom row, and this will clear the entire top row in case, there's something vulgar or whatever. But we can press the green button to send it, and it should send and receive by itself. So here we go, green button. And hi, my name is Con Gaming. Fantastic, sends our whole message. And, this probably doesn't seem that impressive, but you have to think of the fact that all of that information went through this one connection right here. So it's really cool. And in case you guys don't realize how cool this is, we're just gonna put another one of these right here. Wireless comms PC, here we go. Spawn in that one here. And we're gonna mix it up. Now, you can't have both of them transmitting on the same frequency. You can see, even if we leave this one here, transmitting on one and receiving on one, weird stuff happens with the script. So watch, we'll press the green button and you can see the message is now 288.0, white bearing, 3 axolot 9 7 axolot 4 blank white space. So you can see definitely weird stuff, but all we got to do to fix that, if it happens, don't worry. Just paint these a different color. There we go. And we should be back to normal transmitting and receiving mode. So of course, we'll have this one transmitting on the black frequency and receiving on the blue. And then we'll have this one doing the opposite. We can, of course, change the number if we want, just to have it, you know, changed using these buttons. We could change it to 3, 4, whatever we want to do. But regardless, we'll just have them on different colors and it'll work just the same. You can see this one even got screwed up. So we'll just clear that top row, clear that bottom row. Perfect. And we'll clear the top row on this one. And now we'll send our message. Hi, my name is Con Gaming. And you can see we've actually received that message over here on this computer. And it's absolutely fantastic. So I know a lot of you are going to say, well, Con, this isn't really a computer. And I get that. But in Scrap Mechanic, there's only so much we can actually do. Once you get to a certain number of logic blocks, you kind of get completely screwed over. And this is more like what I would call an application-specific type device. I mean, or an application-specific computer, I guess. It's designed to do one thing, and that's just type out really terrible short messages that are, you know, shorter than your phone or your Twitter message. But I mean, hey, Twitter, you know, up to a year ago was only 4 times as long as this. So I mean, you know, we're not that far behind the times. Give me another 2 years of doing this and we'll be making Twitter in Scrap Mechanic. But of course, we've got our message. Hi, my name is Con Gaming. So that's coming from our device over there. So you know what? Let's send them back another message. Hi. You know what? No, let's do a comma this time. Hi, comma. Space. I space subscribed. And we'll just write this back, you know. Oh no, I subbed. Good enough. Hi, I subbed. Perfect. Look at that. Amazing. Of course, if you have your friends on the map, you could, you know, have each other on completely different frequencies. And as long as you know who's on whose frequency, every single device that is receiving on the frequency will receive the instant you click the send button. There's nothing you have to press on the receiving end. And in fact, let's just put a chair here just so you guys can really see that. We'll go here. We'll put down our chair and we'll just connect it into the send button, which is that one there. And we'll just go clear the message on this screen. And you can see, let's just put, you know, put more messages down. Let's go I sub D. You know what? That's fine. Whatever. Space. Happy hamsters. And so you can see right here, actually, there's a number 24, and that's your actual letter count. So if you're ever curious how many letters you have between 1 and 30. So you have 1 through 30, basically, to get 30 characters total. So if you're ever curious about your number count, that is it. And you can see, actually, if we go above it, happy hamster. Okay, we can spell that. Perfect. But we can't spell day, so let's just press space, and we'll go D-A, and now we're at 30. So if we press Y, it's actually just going to overwrite that final slot. It doesn't go ahead into another slot. It's actually got a thing to set back. Same sense, if you press delete when you're at the very back here, it won't go further in that direction. It'll stay there. Now, if you mash the delete key really quickly, you can get it to skip past it. Same sense if you mash a button really quickly. So just make sure you're trying to, you know, click it. But there we've got our awesome message. And just to show you guys that it will send and receive at the same time, you know what, let's clear the sent message here too, because we don't need that sent message. Let's just clear that. Perfect. And we'll just go over here and we'll just press the send button and boom, you'll see it actually writes it right away. Because that computer is receiving on the blue 1 frequency, as soon as we send, boom, it's good. And you can see if we change this to blue 0 even, and then we'll go back here and we'll just clear this screen again, right? And if we change this to blue 0, you'll see it actually doesn't send to that at all. So you can have tons of different devices around the map. You can have them all at different frequencies. And of course, you could send secret messages to your friend because, you know, sending messages here, happy hamster day, you know, now everybody knows that you're talking about the happy hamster. But if you've got some of these crazy awesome messaging computers on the map, you can just, you know, sneak your way and hide those messages. Of course, it's super portable, fits right in your pocket. You can see very useful, very user-friendly, and really, I'm just super happy with it. Of course, you're probably wondering, well, what happens if you send another message? You can see we got, hi, my name is Con Gaming up there. We haven't cleared that yet, so it's still staying in memory here, even though we don't have it here. And let's just send another message while that one's up there. So let's go, how are you? Let's go space, how, perfect. Are having a great conversation here with ourselves. Okay, how are you? Right, question mark, there we go. So we'll just send that, and you can see, it overwrites the entire top text from Con Gaming with how are you. Send that one back there. Perfect. Good. How about you? And you can see I'm good. How about you? Fantastic. Fantastic. And so I'm sure a few of you guys have clued in as to how this is working, but in case you haven't, we'll just go through. Oh, I forgot to clear the previous message. Well, let's just fix that. And, oh. And there we go. And you can see we actually added in the ampersand symbol. So the way this works is really, really cool. And you can see we've got 4 symbols here, but believe it or not, you can actually change these to anything you want on the ASCII. In fact, you can actually change anything on this keyboard to any one of the ASCII numbers, and it will continue to work. The only ones that are the exception are these 4 buttons here and the space button. So I guess these 5 buttons in total. But any one of these keys works with the exact same method, and it's really quite cool what you can do with the number blocks. So prepare yourselves. Here comes the super awesome math part of the episode. This sort of computing mechanism actually works really, really simply, and it's a little bit complicated to understand, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually quite a simple process. So each one of these blocks is an ASCII block, which actually responds to a certain number input, but they also have another function, which is outputting what they're showing. So we can actually place one of these blocks down, and when we do, they're blank by default, but if you press E, you can cycle through them, or we can press E while crouching to cycle back, and that actually will output a number. So all we're really doing here is having the ASCII blocks multiply with the tick button below them on these math blocks. That's all these blue things. And so what happens is when the tick button is pressed, it sends a value of 1, and 1 times whatever value is on the ASCII block will be equal to that value. Those values then get output through this lovely little sort of number and logic tick thing. And really simply to do that, all we do is add every single one of them together, because it's just going to be a bunch of zeros plus 1 number, right? And we feed all that through this into this, you know, whatever you want to call it, discombobulator thing, which basically is just incrementing our index as it saves the values into each of these memory slots. So each of these memory slots, you can see we're right now on the 19th memory slot right here, and it'll basically write the value into that memory slot and then increment the index to 20, which as we type a letter, boom, you can see it actually goes to 20 and the equal sign is now there, but it's written that value into the 19th block as well as displayed it in the 19th position on this screen. And we can keep doing this over and over again, no problem, and we're just writing values. When you press space, it's just writing a 0 value. When we send the data, all we're doing, you can see, is sending a tick of information which streams down this entire line and actually sends 1 piece of information per tick. So it's extremely fast. So each block is basically being sent in 1 tick of data. So 30 blocks is being sent in less than a second, as it's 40 ticks per second. So it's very, very fast, you can see, in terms of the data. And then all we're doing on the receiving side of things is basically, as soon as the first tick of data comes in, it wakes up the system and starts sending a pulse down the memory. And then it's all very carefully timed so that each one of these pulses reacts at the exact same time when the value comes through, so that each position stores the exact right value when it comes through. And really, really simply, it involves a lot of timing, a fair amount of memory, and some know-how with the logic comparison. So there's a lot of cool stuff you can do with the number blocks, and one of the biggest things, for example, is just being able to multiply by 1. So if you take any value and you want to pass a value through an if statement, you multiply that value by the if statement itself, and that will be 1 times the value, or if the if statement is false, it'll be 0 times the value, and the value won't get passed through. So really simple tricks like that allow you to make something complex like this, and of course, really, really awesome for sending those awesome messages to your friends. So I encourage you guys, check this out on the workshop. I will upload it, of course, and I think it is an awesome build to really start off sort of the computerized builds in Scrap Mechanic. I do want to make more, I guess, computer type devices. I don't know if you want to call this a computer or not. I know I'm probably going to get some hate from people for calling it a computer, but in Scrap Mechanic, there's only so much we can actually do with logic before it gets a little bit more dicey. And I think this is more of a, like I said, a very specific application type computer, but with the ability to add other stuff in here, you better believe that we're gonna do all sorts of different things, like have intermediate routers that can handle tons of different signals, so everyone can, you know, transmit on individual colors, but it all gets sent out to everyone all at once. Stuff like that, really, really awesome, like mass distribution and other cool things we can do. And of course, we could make other devices with these math blocks that aren't just messaging systems. So if you guys have any ideas of any like hardcore logic computing type stuff you want me to do, let me know, of course, in the comments down below. I have a few ideas myself of other builds that I'd like to try and do with these math blocks that are just hardcore computing power and just absolutely awesome. But of course, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And while you're at it, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.